Thank you very much. All right. So I'll be talking about Project Quarks, which is an effort to run Cloud Foundry natively on Kubernetes. But first, I would just like to talk about a few numbers that I find very interesting. In our community, we have hundreds of developers that are working to create new software, and most of that gets concentrated in CF deployment, this repo that brings in more than 30 BOSH releases that total up to more than 115 jobs. And what you end up with is around 190 software packages that get integrated and released every 7 days, on average. And this is an awesome cadence because all of that software works together. And I want us to keep this in mind because this is something that we want to bring with us when we go to the Kubernetes world. So on the left here, we have a bunch of bubbles, 190 bubbles representing all of these packages, and they're color-coded by the release that they're a part of. So you want to deploy all of these on the left to the VMs on the right. So this is CF Deployment 101. You get a deployment manifest, and you deploy, and everything works perfectly. But as you probably know, there's already a containerized version of Cloud Foundry. We use a tool called Fissile to containerize and build Docker images. And what happens is, at build time, we take a sort of a deployment manifest, and we take all of these packages and create some Docker images out of it. All of these packages are fitted in one image layer, and then with those images, with those specially crafted images, plus some Helm charts, you can then deploy on Kubernetes. Now, this works, but it's not that flexible. So you need to make a decision at build time on what you include in your deployments. So that's not very flexible. Having a large image is also not that great. And this deployment manifest that sits here in the middle, that's not actually the same CF deployment manifest that we all know. It's actually different, and it's hard to maintain. So we want to make things better. So this is where the Kubernetes Operator that's a part of Project Quarks comes in. You'll notice here that each release now has its own Docker image. We build this automatically. Every time there's a new BOSH release, every time there's a new stem cell version, we have pipelines that create these Docker images, version them, and they're ready for anyone to use them. And you'll see that the deployment manifest is being used at runtime, which is great. And furthermore, it's not a deployment manifest, it's the exact same deployment manifest that you use in the VM world. It has, you need some ops files to tweak it a bit, but you consume the exact same deployment manifest. Bonus, there's no monet involved anymore. So in the past, we've been treating containers as if they were kind of VMs. You would exec into it, and you had monet there. This is no longer the case. You actually run one process per container, and this is all made possible by the BPM BOSH Process Manager work that's been going on. Okay, so with that, I'll switch to demo. What we'll be doing here is I'll deploy the CF operator on hopefully I'll get my internet connection back. Okay. Whew. All right, so I don't have anything deployed here. It's just a GKE Kubernetes environment. I have Tiller, and I'm going to use Helm to set up the CF operator. Simple Helm install. We're now going to watch for pods and see if the operator is up and running. It's going to come online in a few seconds. There we go. And now the operator is installed. We have a few custom resources that get created as you install the operator, 4 of them to be exact. One of them is called a BOSH deployment. So there's a custom resource now that Kubernetes understands that's called a BOSH deployment. When we create these, the operator will take notice and will start taking action so that the desired world in the manifest is the same as the actual world. We also have a few extended custom resources for jobs, secrets, and stateful sets. These bring in new functionality to Kubernetes that's not there. So a few BOSH features that aren't currently available on Kubernetes. OK, so now that we have the operator, we can go ahead and install SEF. So this is the containerized version of Cloud Foundry. Again, a simple Helm install. We run it. And this takes about 10 minutes to go from Helm install to being ready to run once all the Docker images are downloaded. So I will be switching to an environment that I've already deployed. First, though, I would like to show you something interesting about the Helm chart, and something that I alluded to earlier. So it looks like a normal Helm chart. You have your values, YAML, templates, and so on. But the important part is this asset here, which is CF deployment. If you take a look at it, it's the exact CF deployment YAML that you take from the GitHub repo. So this, plus some ops files, will give you an installation on Kubernetes. So what happens, I'll switch to the live cluster. All right, so this has already been deployed. What that other operator is doing now, it's running a bunch of commands and a bunch of jobs to figure out what the BOSH process information is. It calculates variables, it interpolates ops files, and so on, until it gets to the desired manifest. So everything interpolated, everything generated. And then it'll start deploying these pods, which are actually parts of stateful sets. And you'll see that there is one pod for each instance group that we have in CF deployment. And of course, multiple, so one process per container, meaning we have many containers here for each instance group. This particular installation comes with Irene, which is amazing. So it already has an app deployed on it, meaning whenever you CF push to this Cloud Foundry that we've deployed on Kubernetes, you actually get an app on Kubernetes itself. So I'd just like to show you that the app is there. And that I can curl it. There we go. And this sometimes takes a bit, but yes. Logs also work. Logging is difficult, so I really wanted to show this working. All right. That concludes the demo part. I would like now to just help you find us. There's a GitHub project. You can find us on Slack. We have a bunch of stuff happening here at Summit. There's an awesome talk today later on that explains exactly how we've built the operator and goes into a deep dive. There are hands-on labs today and tomorrow where you can do exactly what I've done here, but you'll actually wait and see exactly how everything gets deployed. And we have office hours tomorrow. That's it. Thank you.